Hi, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from the United States, and welcome to my card making today. Today we're going to make something called the Impossible Card. There's been a few people making this out there. I saw this first on Connie Stewart's website, and we're going to be, this is what it looks like, and I like that it actually stands up when you open it up, so whoever you send it to can enjoy the greeting all day long. So let's get started on this one. Okay, this is a card. As you can see, it stands up on its own, and it fits in one of our medium-sized envelopes. I think it's adorable. I'm using the Nature's Print stamp set and die on this one, and some of the retired paper from it also too. So it lays down flat, and then when it comes out of the envelope, it pops up. So your message can sit there and encourage, or give somebody a happy birthday greeting, something like that, when they receive it. So I like it. It's a lot of fun to make, and so let's get to it. We are going to start out with a piece of cardstock. I happen to be using the basic white, and it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That is our card base. And so we are going to do some cutting and some scoring with this. So we're going to need our paper trimmer. I'm going to kind of scoot in here a little bit, see if you can see the numbers on there. So we are going to start scoring it. Got a little piece of a little backing from a mini dimensional. They just kind of float all over the place. Anyway, we are going to score it at 2 1/8, so that is like 2 little marks past the 2 mark. So 1, 2, and 1/16 and 1/8. So we're going to score that, and then we are going to turn it and line it up at 4 3/8. So there's 4 1/4, that's 2/8, and 3/8 would be 2 more marks over to the left. So 4 3/8, and we're going to bring in our cutting blade and line it up with the score mark there, and you can also look here on this side too, where it says 2 1/8. So we're going to cut to the top, and then we are going to slide it over to 1 1/8, so that would be 1 1/8 is right there, and we're going to cut down to the score mark again. I'm trying to hold my paper in place at the same time. Cut down to the score mark. Then we're going to do a complete 180 and flip it, and we're going to line it up at 2 3/4, which is halfway between the two sides of the cards. And we're going to start the score line again, 2 1/8, and score that way. And there we have our card base. Now this is the magic card part, or the part that looks kind of impossible. So I'm going to take my bone folder, and the right side we're just going to flip like this and burnish that a little bit, and then flip it this way and turn it over, score the other side. And that's what the magical card part looks like, because it looks like you have cut some spaces out of here, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, right? So it is kind of magic. And we have Connie Stewart, and I think it's Christine Stewart, who've discovered this for us. So it's a lot of fun. Now we are going to cut some DSP to fill in the little spaces there. And this DSP is 3 3/8 or 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. And you can use whatever DSP that you want. This is just a sample. everybody just likes to make their own cards, customized to their liking. So we bring in our paper trimmer here. And one thing I discovered, if you're going to use the markings on the right side of the guide here, the cutting guide, to do this, turn your paper upside down. I cut it using these guides on the first time I did it, and they fit the back of the card. They didn't fit the front of the card. So we're going to use the guides on this side. So we're lining this up at 1 inch, and we're going to cut it to the 2-inch mark. So I'm going to try and line this up. I have to tilt it just a little bit so I can see. And we're lining it up at the 1-inch mark. I'm going to go all the way up. Flip this completely around. Oh, I think I forgot to tell you the size. So this is 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. Okay. So now we have the part that we just cut. That's down here. Line this up at 1 inch. 1 inch. I don't know. I keep saying 1 inches lately. And we're going to bring it down to the 2-inch mark. And now we are going to cut in between these two cut marks, so right here. And if you line it up at the 2-inch mark, you should be good. So, I'm going to see if I can see where that cut mark is there and line up this little groove on the blade with that, and go all the way up to the 1-inch mark, which should be right about there. So I'm just gonna cut these apart a little bit. Corners that are hanging up. There. So we have one piece that's a little bit longer. So we're going to bring our paper trimmer in, and I'm going to line this up at the 2-inch mark here, and bring our blade up here. I don't want to cut my paper. And cut it down to this 1-inch mark here, right to the edge of that. And we're going to just snip this little piece out. Let's see. Don't want to cut too far. There. And now these should match. And they should fit in these two spaces here, like so. Perfect. So now we are going to use some of our multi-purpose glue. And some people call this the green glue. I like this because when I'm trying to, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to slide it around and fit it in that space. So we're going to take this and we're just going to slide it right in here and try to get it, the margins all the way around the same. Okay, now we're going to do the same with this piece here. Whoop. And that one is going to fit right in here. So we bring in our paper trimmer here. And one thing I discovered, if you're going to use the markings on the right side of the guide here, the cutting guide, to do this, turn your paper upside down. I cut it using these guides on the first time I did it, and they fit the back of the card. They didn't fit the front of the card. So we're going to use the guides on this side. So we're lining this up at 1 inches, and we're going to cut it to the 2-inch mark. So I'm going to try and line this up. I have to tilt it just a little bit so I can see. And we're lining it up at the 1-inch mark. I'm going to go all the way up. Flip this completely around. Oh, I think I forgot to tell you the size. So this is 3 5/8 by 4 1/8, okay? So now we have the part that we just cut. That's down here. Line this up at 1 inches. 1 inch. I don't know why I keep saying 1 inches lately. And we're going to bring it down to the 2-inch mark. And now we are going to cut in between these two cut marks, so right here. And if you line it up at the 2-inch mark, you should be good. So, oh, I'm going to see if I can see where that cut mark is there and line up this little groove on the blade with that and go all the way up to the 1-inch mark, which should be right about there. So I'm just gonna cut these apart a little bit. Corners that are hanging up. There. So we have one piece that's a little bit longer. So we're going to bring our paper trimmer in, and I'm going to line this up at the 2-inch mark here, and bring our blade up here. I don't want to cut my paper. And cut it down to this 1-inch mark here, right to the edge of that. And we're going to just snip this little piece out. Let's see. Don't want to cut too far. There. And now these should match. And they should fit in these two spaces here. Like so. Perfect. So now we are going to use some of our multi-purpose glue. And some people call this the green glue. I like this because when I'm trying to, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to slide it around and fit it in that space. So we're going to take this and we're just going to slide it right in here and try to get it, the margins all the way around the same. Okay, now we're going to do the same with this piece here. Oh. And that one is going to fit right in here. Now we have another piece of DSP, and this is 2 inches by 3 1/8. And we're going to put that on the stand part. A little bit of glue. You could also use our Stampin' Seal for this if you'd like. Like I said, when I'm trying to smooth things or move things around a little bit, I like to use the that glue there. And now we're going to build a little bridge to make sure that our piece doesn't wiggle around. I had a piece of cardstock here. So we're going to glue these two pieces together. And Not to get any glue on myself. Slide these around so the margin is the same all the way around. Then we're going to take a little bit of glue. And I think for this part you would want to use glue or Stampin' Seal Plus, just because this is going to kind of hold this card in place so that it doesn't wiggle around. There. So this way it's not going to flip back to the way it was originally. And on the back side you can have a place to write your sentiment. So now we are going to embellish this. And I have a piece of white cardstock that is 4 by 2.5, and I have a piece of adhesive sheets. If you haven't used adhesive sheets, they're wonderful for doing like intricate dies or like letters, flowers that are really intricate, and peel it off from the backing. There is, as you can see, there was a place where it was scored a little bit or cut, so it's easy to peel off. We're just going to line these two up here, and then I am going to screw this up royally. I'm going to run to my die cutting machine. We are going to use 2 of these and about, let's see, what did I use on the other one? Like 5 of these. So, and luckily I have 3 that are the same. So I will be right back. So we're back with our pieces cut, and we're going to take these 2 out. Now if you've not used the die cutting machine or before, I just want to point something out to you. These little holes here are called ejection holes. So they help you poke out or release the image that you die cut from the die itself. So here's one, and that one is out. That's here. And I was doing this card earlier, and I thought I hadn't cut enough, and lo and behold, there was one still stuck in here, and then I went and recut it and cut it on top of the other one. So it happens when you're not paying attention. So I had die cut enough anyway in the first place. So now we're going to position these on here. Bring our card back in, and we're going to, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Just going to take the end of my paper piercing tool, or you could use your take your pick tool, and just kind of lift up that backing and then gently peel it off. And let's see what I've got on my example here. We're going to put one here, and the other long one. Now, you can tell on this that it's got the backing on it. But if you didn't have the backing on it, you can also tell that there is like a finished side to this. It's a little bit smoother, where this will have little edges that kind of pop up. So, try to get started on here. My poor old eyes aren't what they used to be. And we're going to put this one over here. And then I have a few more. Let's see. Oh, before that, I want to make sure I attach my label. I am going to be using a sentiment from the Go-To Greetings. Oh, I didn't show you the stamp set. I'll show you that now. So this is the stamp set. It's called Nature's Prince. It's got some lovely sentiments in there, some flowers that you can color or just die cut, and then some nice greenery pieces and a little bit of background splotching. And then these are the other dies that are in the set. This is also called Nature's Prints. It has a lovely wreath die, and these cut out all the images except for, of course, the background splotching there. So I'm using the Go-To Greetings from this I want to make a birthday card. And I love this set because it's got 4 of your most commonly used sentiments. Happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note, and thank you. And then it has 3 different sizes. I'll scoot out a little bit here. It has 3 different sizes of fonts and 3 different types of fonts. So I love this. This is like, it will be my go-to greetings. So set that aside. And so I've got happy birthday on here. And we're going to stamp it in Night of Navy. Try to center this. And try not to rock your stamp. Sometimes you get a little ink around the edges. And if you rock it, you'll get markings where you don't want them. So you're going to go just straight down and straight up. And then also when using like the darker, richer colors like Night of Navy, Cherry Cobbler, Blackberry Bliss, things like that, you want to kind of give it a minute to dry. I'm going to blow on it gently here. Then this stamp set, or this die set, also has a lovely label die. So I'm going to run really quick and die cut that too. There we are. Happy birthday. So I'm going to use a couple dimensionals and attach this to my greeting space. You could use an image there and put your greeting down here. I mean, the sky's the limit on this layout. Hope it's dry because I'm touching it. And we're just going to put that right, maybe a little towards the top, because we're going to put one of these little guys on there. And just lift off that backing. I find this, using this adhesive sheet, so much easier than trying to put little glue dots on there, or trying to get glue in those fine spaces, tiny little spaces. I usually end up getting more on me than I do on the part I'm trying to glue. So there. And we're going to put one there. And I got 3 more. There, we have those done. Now we're going to bling it up a little bit with some rhinestones. There we go. And I'm going to put one here, one there, a big one up here. Big one over here. It's a hard time deciding someplace where to place them. There's 3 different sizes of rhinestones, so there's like small, medium, and large. So let's see, do I want to put any more on there? Maybe one more small one right here. There. You can bling it up as much or as little as you want. And there's our card. Whoops, slides out of my hands. So I think this is great. It fits in our regular medium-sized envelope. And just put your little personal greeting on the back and slip it into an envelope and send it off. So I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you do, please like, share, subscribe to my blog, which is cottagelanestamper.com. This will also be posted on my Facebook group page, which is called Cottage Lane Stamper and Friends. And you can also find it under my YouTube channel under Sharon Brennan. If you want any of the supplies that I shared with you today, you can get them at these locations. This is my Stampin' Up store. You can just use that QR code. This one is the QR code to my blog, and also I have some crafts there that I sell, and also downloads from Stampin' Up, like cases for paper pumpkin inserts and some of the Kits collection inserts. So this is for my events calendar. If you're local, you can just scan that QR code and see what I've got coming up. And this is if you want to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. So that's just a little bit of self-advertising. Oh, and once a month I get together with friends who have subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, and we do Paper Pumpkin and Pie, which is you buy the Paper Pumpkin kit, you subscribe to it, or you can just buy one of our kits online, and we get together in my apartment and put together our kits, have some fun, and eat some pie. So anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I do appreciate it, and make sure you give us a try and let me know how you do. Thank you so much. Take care. My God bless.